Oh, you can hear me now, much better. Yeah, okay. Now I forgot to put the battery in the set, so now it's good. So my first parish was related to St. Mary as well. As a young missionary, I was sent to Lagos, Nigeria, which is densely populated, is putting it mildly. There are millions and millions of people everywhere, and it's not a very big area. Huge numbers, and it's destined to become one of the most populated cities in the world sometime this century. So it is called Lagos from the word lagoon, where there's a little piece of land, swamp, land, swamp, land, swamp. So driving around there can be very challenging. And where I was in St. Mary's, which the locals called Jungle City, I found it much easier to walk than to drive when I was going from church to church. And the way you went was by a little wooden bridge, homemade, 2 planks, sticks in the ground, and you were walking probably maybe the width or the length of a football field or longer across a swamp, and you know there was kind of wobbling like this all the time. And one thing you would be absolutely sure of, do not fall into the swamp. It would not be a good place to end up. So I would go that way and get to the church I was working at, and when at night time I would go, you know, it was good to get home early, because around between 9 and 10 o'clock at night, people would move indoors, because it became dangerous, because that's when bandits sometimes came out at night and they were looking to rob people and give them a difficult time. So they harassed. People were poor and they were struggling, but it was even made worse by the bandits that would come out at nighttime. I was at a church, Christ the King, and I should have been back in the house by 9 o'clock, but it went late. And as I got finished, I wanted to make my way back, and somebody said there's a woman is dying and needs the last rites. So I had to go even further away. And I did that, gave her the last rites, and then I said I better get back soon. So it was probably coming up towards 11 o'clock by the time I was heading back. And I got on the footbridge and I was walking along, and there was just heightened sense of tension because it was completely deserted. And as I got about halfway across, I could hear footprints behind me as well. So I got off that bridge and I started on the second one. And I just said, pick it up. And I picked it up and began to go faster. And then I heard the footprints behind me, and they began to go faster as well. And then the last one, I didn't want to run because there's no way I could outrun somebody. I had a long white cassock on me. And then finally I got to the gate of the church, and every church is surrounded by a 15-foot wall with barbed wire and broken glass on top, because we're always getting robbed and attacked. And the watchmen were asleep, and I couldn't get in. So I did encounter the person who was behind me. And long story short, his only concern was that I would get home safely. And that's not unusual when you're dealing with the ordinary people of Nigeria. There's hardly, not once in my 11 years there, if I got a flat tire on the old Volkswagen Beetles that were probably made in 1920, and if I got out to mend a flat tire, guaranteed 100% somebody would stop and do it for me. They were very good, kind, and very dignified people. But I learned a great lesson. And the great lesson is, even in a hostile environment, you have to be very careful that your mind doesn't go to what Albert Einstein said we all fall into one of two camps. We can see the world as a benevolent, beloved place, or we can see the world as a hostile, angry place. And it is a choice we all have. And we, as Catholics and as Christians, we don't have a choice. If we believe in God, we have to believe that the world is good and that people are good. And belovedness and benevolence is the way to go through life. So that's what we are invited to. And that invitation is given by Jesus in the gospel of today. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened. Listen to that invitation. Beautiful invitation. Come to me, all you who are labor and are burdened. And so many people today are laboring and burdened with life in many different ways. And we don't have to walk alone. We all have somebody who is walking after us, making sure we get home safely. That is why Jesus says, take my yoke upon you. And when a farmer is making a yoke for his oxen, each piece, one bar, a piece of wood, and it is carved out uniquely and with great care for the width of the oxen, for the shape of his back, and it is smoothed down beautifully so it doesn't cut his skin. Because if it cuts his skin and doesn't fit well, then he is of no use. And what Jesus is saying, take my yoke upon you. I'm at one side of your life. We're sharing the same yoke. I am walking with you, for I am gentle and humble in heart. We have to also remember that God's first language is silence, but that doesn't mean absence. So God is present to us in a very gentle and humble way. And you will discover this if you know when you go through a difficult time, that the great mistake that people make is that when you go through a difficult time and you feel pressed down by the world, anybody who comes to you with a kind word, a kind action, or a gentle presence, that is God manifesting his care and his love for you in your life. It may be a stranger, it may be a friend, it may be a child, it may be a husband, wife, extended family. Pay attention to that. That is his gentle presence among us. Another way would be through very deep prayer. When Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he knew what was going to happen to him, he collapsed with all that was going to come to him. But he entered into very deep and profound prayer with his Father. And he discovered a peace within him that cannot be touched or destroyed in any way. So these are the two ways that we can journey through life. But most importantly, God wants us to know through his Son Jesus that we never walk alone. He is always with us, and he wants us to walk through life with joy and peace in our lives, knowing that, as the words of St. Julian of Norwich, all will be well, and all manners of things will be well.
Thank you for joining us today. Our digital ministry provides a valuable service to parishioners and visitors alike. Daily and Sunday Mass, funerals, weddings, and fireside chats, among other things, can be seen locally, throughout the country, and even the world, in real time or at one's convenience. If you would like to support this effort, please go to olphglenview.org. Click on the gold donate button and then the Sunday giving icon to make a contribution on our secure online giving portal. We sincerely appreciate your past and ongoing support. Thank you for helping us continue this ministry. God bless.